wrote a book, an ebook. So it's about e-visas, it's about L visas, O visas. So we're gonna have a link in our comments so you can sign up and you can get your ebook for free. So I highly suggest you do that because Fiona has many, many years of expertise, and this is all about basically it's all the questions that she gets over and over and over. Okay, this is she put it in a book, and she's like, here you go. So I suggest that I signed up, and I suggest everybody does because I'm sure it's going to be awesome. So nuestra abogada Fiona, ella escribió un libro, un ebook acerca de las visas E, la visa O y la visa L. Así que yo les digo que si pueden que se noten en los comentarios, ver una link donde ustedes pueden anotar si lo van a recibir como una semana. Yeah, it's coming out like in a week or something like that. So it's like, so you can get it very soon. So let's start with some news. So number one, the Venezuelan parole program. So let's talk about this. So thank you, Liz, for posting the link. She just put it in the comments. And so on October 12th, the Biden administration announced a plan to provide a legal pathway into the country for up to 24,000 Venezuelan migrants. At the same time, he also extended Title 42. So we're going to talk about a little how those two things intersect. So, número uno, vamos a hablar del programa de libertad condicional para la gente de Venezuela. El 12 de octubre, el presidente Biden firmó este programa para darles un camino legal para las personas que puedan entrar, para personas de Venezuela, que son los migrantes que vienen en la frontera, es para 24,000 personas. También él extendió un programa 42 y vamos a hablar un poquito de cómo esas dos cosas trabajan juntas, cómo intersectan. So, number one, so what are the requirements for this program? Okay, so obviously you need to be from Venezuela, then you need to hold a passport, and then you need to have a sponsor that is able to file a declaration of financial support. That is called I-134. So, número uno, los requerimientos es que vos seas de Venezuela, que tengas un pasaporte válido y que tengas un sponsor acá, alguien que pueda hacer una declaración de ayuda financiera que se llama la forma I-134. So, upon initial acceptance, the parolees needs to provide for their own commercial air travel. And they also need to pass a national security background check. So, una vez que son afectados, tienen que pagar su propio pasaje de avión y también tienen que pasar un background check, algo bien suelto para estar de seguridad, para que pasen este test de seguridad. So, now let's talk about a couple of points that are very important, I think. So, number one is that this program is free. And I wanted to emphasize that because there is always a lot of, I feel like, immigrants community, there is always people trying to take advantage. So the government fee is zero. So obviously, if you hire an attorney to help you with this, you always need to pay the attorney, but the government fees is $0. Another thing is that anyone can be a sponsor. So you don't need to have a family or friends or anything. Anybody can be a sponsor. That is a very, very important thing. So basically, una de las cosas es que esta aplicación es gratuita. O sea, el gobierno no te cobra por llenarla. Obviamente, si contratas a un abogado, tenés que pagar al abogado, pero el gobierno no te cobra. Y el otro punto interesante es que cualquier persona puede ser tu sponsor. No tenés que tener una familia, amigos, lo que sea. Cualquier persona lo puede hacer. So, what are the benefits? So, obviously, number one is protection for deportation for about 2 years. And then they can apply for a work permit. So, obviously, this takes some time, but these are the two big benefits. El beneficio número uno es protección de deportación y después que pueden aplicar para un permiso de trabajo. Let's talk about a little bit about Title 42 that I mentioned before. So, how this expansion of Title 42 affects Venezuelans seeking protection at the border there. So, first of all, what is Title 42? Okay, so it's a policy that was created back in the Trump administration, by the Trump administration during the pandemic. So basically, the goal was to immediately expel all migrants to Mexico or the country of origins. So basically, under Title 42, they were not given the opportunity to make claims of asylum. So, número uno, ¿qué es Title 42? Es un programa que fue implementado por Trump durante la pandemia, que básicamente no les permite a las personas, los migrantes, pedir asilo. Una vez que estos llegaban a la frontera, ellos los expulsaban inmediatamente. Then what happens? So what happens is that prior to October 12, arriving Venezuelans were almost entirely exempted from Title 42. But now, starting October 12, the Biden administration made a deal with Mexico to expand Title 42, which means this means that Venezuelans can be expulsed. So the expulsions began immediately. So basically, once this happens, they have 15 days for them to leave Mexico, and they cannot make a claim for protection. So it is unlikely that everybody will be subjected to this, all the Venezuelans, will affect everybody, but it will affect a big number of people. So básicamente lo que está pasando es que antes de octubre, el 12 de octubre, Venezuela no estaban incluidos en este título, entonces esto no les pasaba a ellos, ahora están incluidos. Este fue el cambio que Biden hizo, lo que quiere decir que algunas personas que lleguen de Venezuela no van a poder entrar por el título 42. Entonces no va a afectar a todo el mundo, pero va a afectar a algunas personas. So, what are the concerns about this plan? Okay, so I think one of the first ones is the fact that it's only for 24,000 people, which is a super, super, super small number considering all the Venezuelans already in transit. Then is the cost. It's cost prohibitive. Why? Because that requires a valid passport, requires a sponsor, requires that you cover your own commercial air travel. I mean, these are things that only a very small number of Venezuelans can afford. Like the average migrant will not be able to do this. Only 1% of Venezuelans arrive in the US and fleeing Venezuela actually hold travel documents. So basically, it seems like this program will not be able to be used by the migrants. Like it seems like it's something that is more for people that are very connected, that are wealthier. So you gotta be privilege in order to access it. So we'll see what happens. But it seems like it's very controversial and it's causing a lot of it's very disappointing, these two things. So, ¿cuáles son los problemas, las cosas que nos gustan de este proyecto, de este programa? Número uno, solamente 24,000 personas. Como te puedes imaginar, 24,000 personas es muy poquito, es un número muy chiquitito considerando el número de personas que vienen acá desesperados. Número dos, es de que es caro, porque las personas no tienen dinero para tener un pasaporte. Un pasaporte, las personas que se escapan de Venezuela, solamente el 1% tienen un pasaporte. ¿Por qué? Porque es muy caro y esta gente no tiene dinero para comer. Entonces, otra cosa es que precisas un sponsor y otra cosa es que tienes que pagarte tu vuelo de avión cuando sales acá. Obviamente esto parece que es un programa más creado para las personas privilegiadas de dinero, bien conectadas, que para los inmigrantes, que son los migrantes de Venezuela. Así que bueno, so now we're going to move to Ethiopia. So DHS designated Ethiopia for temporary protected status for 18 months. So basically individuals who were already residing in the US as of October 20th, 2022 will be eligible for TPS. So a country may be designated for TPS when conditions in the country fail into one or more of these three statutory bases for designation: ongoing armed conflict, environmental disaster, and extraordinary and temporary conditions. In this case, Ethiopia met two of them, which are ongoing armed conflict and extraordinary and temporary conditions. So básicamente nos vamos a Etiopía, donde fue recibido la TPS, y que ellos ahora, si estuviste acá y sos de Etiopía, y desde el 20 de octubre tienen esta protección por 18 meses por el hecho de que, que tienen un conflicto armado y porque tienen el requisito de temporarias y condiciones, extraordinarias condiciones. So basically, people who cannot return home safely, they are able to stay here under TPS. So finally, the last news I have is basically this was for September, but I figured that I was going to talk about. So UCSS extended the green card validity extension to 24 months for green card renewals instead of 12. So, básicamente, ahora si tenés una green card y la tenés que renovar, en lugar de que sea buena por 12 meses, es por 24 meses. So, those are all our news. And now I am going to talk about a few questions that we received. One second. So, okay, so I have to say another disclaimer. So we receive a couple of very specific questions that they fall more like a consultation sort of thing. And obviously for the reasons that I explained before, because we're here live on the internet, we cannot, explain like that, So if you did that, I will not be addressing your question today. We'll probably send you an email asking you if you want to set up a consultation, or maybe you can reach out to us and set up a consultation. So that is my little disclaimer about answering these questions. And obviously, as I said before, this is for educational purposes only, not legal advice. So lo primero que quería decir es que algunas personas nos mandaron preguntas pero muy específicas, que eran más como una consulta legal. Entonces, en este caso no las vamos a hablar acá. Las vamos nos pueden contactar, los contactamos y hacemos una consulta. So, the number one question that I have is, how do I impress the officer at my visa interview? Well, that is a great question that you have. So, number one, I think is a positive attitude, and be confident, but be positive. Dress and act the part. Also, dress formally, not too formal, but also not too casual. Just, like if you're going to an interview, be there early. I would suggest to be there like maybe half an hour, and then just the applicants of the application, just go with you. If you're the applicant, just yourself, or you and your wife, if that matters. Like, there is no need to bring extra people to the room. So another thing is bring a copy of your petition, bring a copy of all the exhibits or the documentation. Just be familiar with your petition and your exhibits, your documents. Another point is that be specific when they ask you questions, that don't overshare. I feel like it's very common that when we are nervous and anxious, we kind of like talk. No, but be honest. And if, obviously if you are afraid of this because you feel like something happened that this could cause you, to get in trouble, this is why you need an attorney. So in that case, you need to contact an attorney. So, una de las primeras preguntas es, ¿cómo hago yo para impresionar a un oficial de inmigración en la entrevista? Bueno, número uno es tener una actitud positiva, sé confianza en vos misma, tenés confianza, pero también, sé positivo, buena actitud. Que básicamente que te vistas bien, que te vistas como si ibas a una entrevista, que no sea demasiado formal, pero que sea formal, ¿no es cierto? Que llegues temprano, media hora básicamente, y que solamente vayan la gente que es acerca de la aplicación, que puede ser solamente vos mismo, puede ser vos y tu pareja, pero que no traigas personas extras. Esto no es algo que la familia entera no tiene que estar ahí, a menos que la familia entera esté parte de la aplicación. Otra cosa es que lleves una copia de tu petición, una copia de los documentos que tenés, que estés familiarizado con todo, que te hagan preguntas, que sepas lo que está pasando, y que digas respuestas precisas, ¿me entiendes? Que no digas demasiado, pero tampoco digas menos, sé honesto. Y si esto es un problema porque hay algo que vos te dé nervioso, bueno, entonces tenés que contactar a un abogado. So my next question is, I have a non-immigrant visa that will expire soon, and I want to renew it. Do I have to go through the whole process again? Well, I think yes or no. Obviously, the visa will not auto-renew, so it means that you need to go through a process again. So yes. But when you file an extension, the process is simpler, but you do need to go through a process. So it's not the whole entire process that you did the first time, but you will go through a process. You will have to submit documentation, form, pay fees, So yeah, there is a process that you will need to go. And another point that I want to make is that you say expire soon, and that is something like, as an attorney, always sort of freaks me out, because I feel like people wait until last minute, and I don't know what soon means to you. Is soon is like 3 months? Okay, start doing it now. But it soon means like next week or in the next 2 weeks. Okay, you need to contact an attorney ASAP because you need to file it. So, otra pregunta que tenemos es, tengo una visa que se va a caducar pronto, la tengo que renovar, tengo que hacer todo el proceso de nuevo. La respuesta es sí, no, tenés que hacer un proceso para renovarla, obviamente con nueva información, con nueva documentación, así que hay un proceso, pagar lo que se paga la inmigración, pagar las formas, hacer las formas, todo eso, así que sí, tenés que hacerlo, pero no es todo el proceso, generalmente son más sencillos hacerlo cuando uno renueva. Otra cosa es que si tu visa, la renovación es pronto, si es en 1 semana o 2 semanas, contacta a un abogado que te lo haga por vos. Si es en 3 meses, empieza ahora. ¿Entendés? No es buena idea esperar al último momento. It's just a really bad idea to just wait till last minute to do anything when it comes to immigration. So another question that we have is, what is the difference between an immigrant and a non-immigrant visa? Well, the major difference is the purpose. So if you have an immigrant visa, that is for a person who wants to live here permanently. But if you are a non-immigrant visa, that is for somebody who comes here for a temporary basis, temporary basis. So you can be here for tourism, you can be a student, you can be here for work. So basically, there are 20 types of non-immigrant visas, and it's all about your purpose, and whether it's temporary you're here. So that would be non-immigrant, and immigrant visa is like, hey, I want to be here forever. So another question that we have is, I forgot, en español. So, ¿cuál es la diferencia entre las visas de inmigrantes y de no inmigrantes? Bueno, la diferencia es el propósito. Si vos querés una visa para quedarte acá para siempre, tenés que tener una visa de no inmigrante. Si querés una visa para estar temporariamente, como para estudiar, trabajar, salud, turismo, esa obviamente es una visa de no inmigrante porque estás interesada acá a venir por, digamos, un tiempo temporario. My last question is, I am a social media influencer. Can I get an O visa? Yes, you can. There is a visa that is called O visa, that is the extraordinary ability visas, and it's called the O1. There is A and B. So in your case, that is a social media influencer. Most likely it could be a B because you are falling into the arts category. And then basically this is a visa that will allow you to work here in the US for a particular employer. You're a petitioner, you need to have somebody petitioning you. And basically up to 3 years, then you can do an extension, another year or even more. Depends if you're abroad. But basically, if you're a social influencer, yes, you can. I would say that in that case, exhibits and evidence could be the brands that you're working with, that you are like a brand ambassador for all these, big companies. We also show the numbers that you have, like your likes, your comments, all these, this numbers, social media numbers. We would include press articles if somebody's writing about you, high pay if you're making a lot of money. If then it's like maybe expert letters, people that are other influencers, your managers, these brands that you're working with, saying why you are so good and how you're helping them with, to have more business. You also have awards and deals, so you can submit contracts of all these people that are working with you, that are interested in working with you in those 3 years that you stay. Basically, one of the points is also proving that, hey, you're here for 3 years. Do you have work for 3 years? So yes, we have all these contracts that this brand wants me to do this for the next year. So, although we're in talks, we have intent to hire. So yeah, we need to include that as well. So esta pregunta era si soy una influencer, social media influencer, si puedo tener una visa, y la respuesta es sí. Hay una visa que se llama O, que se llama la visa de habilidad extraordinaria. Hay 2 tipos de visa, A y B, y bueno, la B es para artistas, personas de las artes, básicamente, y cosas artísticas, y que, bueno, funciona hasta 3 años y puedes renovarla después por 1 año. Y que, bueno, puedes en este caso mostrar evidencia de que estás trabajando con grandes marcas, puedes mostrar artículos de newspapers y magazines que te pagan mucho dinero, un salario muy alto, expertos, carta de expertos que pueden ser estas marcas que te están contratando, pueden ser críticos, pueden ser otros influencers que sean grandes, managers, básicamente toda esta gente diciendo que vos sos una persona de extraordinaria, la habilidad extraordinaria. Si tenés algún, awards como, ¿me entiendes? Nominaciones o premios que ganaste, y también copias de estos contratos con estas compañías que han trabajado con vos y que quieren trabajar con vos. Porque una de las cosas para probar es el hecho de que probar que por estos 3 años tenés trabajo. Entonces, para los artistas es un poco diferente que una persona normal, pero hay una manera de probar que sí, voy a estar ocupado trabajando por estos 3 años. So that is all we have for today. So final reminders, please sign up for a blog. Every week we have a cool article written for one of us, so very educational, and it's a great blog. Fiona's ebook, just got it. There is a link there in the comments. In a few weeks, if you have any other questions, we're going to have another First Fridays. And follow us here, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. And obviously, if you need any help, with your immigration matters, just don't hesitate to contact us, send us an email, or just go into the website and just sign up for a consultation. So, this is all for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I did. So I was very nervous, but it was okay. So, los adiós es que por favor se noten que vayan al blog, que nuestra website está para anotarse para el blog, para la ebook que lo escribió Fiona. Manden preguntas unas semanas para cualquiera del próximo First Friday y que nos sigan acá en LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Y bueno, si tienen alguna pregunta legal que precisen ayuda, mándenos un email, o si no, váyanse a la website y ahí pueden hacer una cita directamente con uno de nosotros. So, thank you so much, and bye-bye.